Are you looking for help for your food addiction and you don't know where to start? Welcome to the series, The Food Addiction Frontlines, where we uncover the expertise and services available for overcoming food addiction. My name is Dr. Vera Tarman, and I'm an addictions physician specializing in sugar and ultra-processed food addiction. In each 15-minute episode, we'll meet leading experts making a difference in this field. They'll share their journey, their training, and the unique services that they provide so that you can find the best treatment for yourself. Today, we speak with JAN KATZEN. Hello, Jan.
Hello, Vera. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. Please tell us what inspired you to specialize in food addiction treatment?
Let's see. The first thing I would say is my own sugar addiction. Sugar was my heroin. And I say that with conviction because I did experiment in my late teens with a few illicit drugs. It was my heroin. Also, my inspiration was working with 3-year-olds in a Montessori classroom. They became my professors and angels of purpose. You want to see how food works, really works in the rawest form? Just spend the day in the classroom with 10 to 12 3-year-olds. They metabolize things really quickly. You can see what they've eaten and haven't eaten and how it affects their days. And I'm saying, what's going on here? I could see two basic styles of eating emerge. So, of course, can you imagine what they could be? So one was full of sugar, right? One was all simple carbohydrates, and the other was eating fresh whole foods. And so that was with the children. But a bit about my own sugar addiction. It began in elementary school. I was a lonely kid. I had attachment issues, but I had no trouble attaching with sugar, which I did at a very early age, going out to recess and they would have sugar cookies and I would buy them and go swing and then come back. And then I would know which friends to go home with after school where there was baked goods. And of course, this progressed into early adulthood. I was driving now, so I could stockpile on desserts from restaurants. Binged, purged. My sugar addiction was basically starving me to death. I had a friend who belonged to AA, invited me to go, learned about OA, went, got a sponsor, and it really saved my life. And I was finally engaging my prefrontal cortex in planning meals and also troubleshooting with my sponsor, like when the food plan wasn't working for me, and also working on my nemesis, which was fast eating. And while I was working on this and coming out of the sugar fog, I had a lot of time on my hands. And in the words of Billie Eilish, the theme of Barbie, I began pondering, what was I made for?
Yeah.
And I always wanted to work with kids, always. And even in the height of my sugar addiction, I would binge at night. I would sugar binge, and I would be in so much emotional and mental pain that somehow I birthed some creativity and began writing children's stories. So that was interesting. But to fast forward now to my recovery, I wanted to work with kids. So I read The Secret of Childhood by Maria Montessori, and I became a Montessori educator.
Can you tell us what your training and qualifications are in food addiction?
Yes, absolutely. I began researching and I was giving handouts to the parents, and I was researching because of what I was observing in the kids, these two styles of eating. So I investigated nutrients uniquely and collaboratively, collecting data from the parents, and they were asking me, what are these? Omega-3, DHA, what is that? What is that? Would this help my child? And of course, it's derived from fish. What dosage would I give them? I was researching this Professor Michael Crawford of the Institute of Brain Chemistry and Human Nutrition, and he became my mentor. And I worked with him for 5 years. He took me under his wing, and I had a paper published in the UK, Nutrition for a Declaration of Nutrition, Health, and Intelligence for the Child to Be. And he became my research director. I became certified as a nutritional specialist and also researcher. But I also have a subspecialty in preconception nutrition. I interned with Belinda Barnes of Foresight Preconception Care.
Wow,
So
that's
I
interesting.
was in line with my purpose, Vera,
Yeah.
and the doors just opened. I began working with an acupuncturist specialist in infertility and a developmental pediatrician. and work with children with ADHD,
Okay.
autism, reading, writing, computing issues, just developmental issues, but also medical health issues, beginning prediabetes.
What kind of services do you provide for people with food addiction? Is it one-on-one? Is it nutritional, group therapy? What do you provide?
One-on-one with patients. We're really good at identifying food triggers that get us back into the sugar.
Yeah.
What about foods that have been chronically deficient for a very long time? So that's what we focus on. So we prioritize makeup food. So I think my strength really is working on individual one-on-one. I don't have work with groups. I really work to individualize food plans based on the physiology and metabolism.
Is that
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
do? Is you provide a food plan?
Yes, provide a food plan. We work on the food plan. Plus, they have actionable tools to tweak it. Nutritional education is another important part of my work with individuals. The mechanisms of how food works, sugar, what happens to how we feel, how it affects how we feel. And then that we can actually manipulate food, maybe, and eat more protein, how the amino acids work to make us provide focus and calmness and balancing that all out within a food plan. And a priority being the timing, composition, and portion size. And that evolves with time and with the day. There's a day when you need more of something in between where you learn it's executive functioning with food.
So if somebody were to see you, would they expect to see you like for a consult, like for 3 or 4 times, or is it like a 3-month program?
We do a 1.5 hour intake, do a nutritional history, a food frequency form, and health history, etc. And we just see where they need, where these priority I call them makeup foods. It could be vegetables, because I don't know who in their addiction. I know I wasn't really looking at what I was eating. That was the last thing. But here now we can really focus on it. Of course, focus on the addiction, but my strength is looking at the foods that heal us, the foods that and nutrients that heal us, because that really helps with cravings. That's been my experience personally and also with my clients.
Is it like a consult where they'd see you for that hour-and-a-half intake and then you'd give them a plan and then you'd follow with them maybe a few more sessions?
Yes, like a few weeks afterwards, they have these meal mapping forms and they notate how they're feeling and they have the tools to make me obsolete.
Yeah.
For some, it takes 2 or 3 times. For others, once a month, or depending on if they have correlative health issues.
What would you say is a unique feature about you or a strength that you offer?
I think the nutritional education is one, definitely. And I think being a researcher, working with individuals that have some health issues, an example might be they have a precursor to multiple myeloma. So I'm researching, I'll figure it out. But there's always the research, and we know that sugar, MGUS, is a benign condition that is a precursor to multiple myeloma. However, the research indicates that if you eliminate sugar and processed meats, etc., and eat these vegetables. So we prioritize these foods in their food plan.
Do you deal with sort of some coexisting issues like mental health issues, ADHD, anxiety, depression along the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
We always work with the food. The food is the medicine. If there's problems, of course, I refer. If there's grief or extreme emotional problems, PTSD, things like that, I always refer them to a specialist within their area. But if they're willing and able to work on their food plan, we just work on it. The smallest changes can make a world of difference. If they're eating all that sugar and it's out of balance, sugar's here,
Yeah.
the micro and macronutrients are down here. And if we can make the smallest changes and balance it out, it can really make a world of difference during these emotional times. So it's always a box to tick.
Okay. What about family? How do you work with the family? And you have to work with the family because you work with kids a lot, right?
Yeah, I work with kids and I work with adults too. I work with teens, and there's always the family involved because sometimes it's the adult that has the issues. And then they just start making the changes and they go, oh, I gotta look at my child, or vice versa. The child can come to me, be referred, and everybody is involved. It has a domino effect for sure, most of the time.
You've got a children's book that you're working on.
Yes. It's right here. Hannah has a sweet tooth. I've been working on it for a very long time. At least I can speak to the children with the book. Even if the parents don't want to get on board, at least that's really the impetus and driver for this children's book.
What would you say are some common challenges that you face in the work of food addiction?
The challenges that I face are working with an individual who, and it hurts me because I know that I've been there quite often, is if they have all the tools and they're not picking up any of them. Like I tell them about the site and to get your book and that kind of thing. And just the power of this addiction that is just so hard to get out of the muck and the quicksand.
Yeah.
And that's my challenge, just individualizing this. And sometimes you just have to be, like I mentioned before, about if they're going through a lot. And being in the height of an addiction is a lot.
How do you keep above board when in this challenge so that you don't get swamped under as well?
My meal time is sacred, Vera. I always take time to chew and eat my food at a specific time, and I make sure my cells are happy. And I like to call it building the control of nutritional error into my day, because then I foundationally bring it on. Whatever it is, it's going to be better because at least at the physiological level, I'm satiated. It makes a really big difference.
Is there something that I didn't ask about you that you would like to showcase?
I really think that prioritizing the makeup foods, going through the food frequency form, doing a nutritional history, and kind of seeing where those holes are, where those spaces are. You know, vegetables, for instance, I know personally when I experienced recovery, vegetables were very important. And then I could feel that when I wasn't eating them, I would felt foggy, miserable, hangry, and all of these things. The same thing I was feeling in my addiction. I think focusing on getting those foods that are going to really help them with weaning off of the sugar and then also helping to minimize the cravings. And I've just seen in my own experience and also with my clients that it's definitely beneficial to focus on those foods. They're windows of nutritional opportunity that have been sorely missed.
Yeah.
And I love seeing pictures on the sugar-free site of what people are eating because I think that's so beneficial to have the focus on the foods that are healing us.
Really, what you're saying is you focus on the foods that we have to avoid, the addictive foods, but also on the foods that are good for you, that will strengthen your resolve and your health.
Yeah, that's just as harmful, the foods we aren't eating and getting enough of, as the sugar addiction.
That's actually a unique feature. Okay, how can we find out more about you?
You can, I pop on to the Sugar Free for Life site.
Yeah.
And also my website, nutritionforlearning.com. You can email me, just reach out. I always offer a perspective phone call. There's really a window of opportunity for nutritional makeup, and it's within the next 24 hours. The next 24 hours. And so let's nutrify, and we can do this.
Do you have any message of hope to give the listener? That sounds like a message of hope.
Yeah, I really thought of this and I took some notes. I love this metaphor. And this kind of reaffirms what I just mentioned to you. This is so interesting to me. I hope it is to the listeners too, but I can really bring it into this moment as well. The World Health Organization, National Institute of Health, and the American Academy of Pediatrics all agree that the most important window of nutritional opportunity for a child's health and well-being is the first 1,000 days of life. So that would be from conception through 2 years of age. The second most important window of nutritional opportunity for continued health and well-being occurs in adolescence. The third most important window of nutritional opportunity is the next 24 hours. That's all we have to look at. And that's what, once again, that is my hope for everyone, and me too.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Jan. I really appreciate our conversation.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Big sugar is the enemy, corrupting the minds of the teens, expelling you not to proceed. Your body's your temple, your mind is your key to a life tapped into